It doesn't matter what you do for a living. Standing out requires a high level of creativity, a healthy dose of ambition, and sheer grit. This is the Standouts, a show where we discuss, explore, and strategize what it takes to achieve the extraordinary. It's about finding your edge and learning how to leverage that for your own success. I'm your host, Aaron Grushow. Get ready to be inspired to blaze your own path. My guest today is the UK's most followed and most watched real estate agent. He's just as impressive off camera as the founder of the Corban Group. Toby Corban, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Aaron. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I've been a huge admirer of you and your content. Would love to hear just how your journey started. How did you get to where you are today?
For sure. So, my journey essentially started kind of traditionally in a sense. I was in the corporate world for some time and quickly realized that, that route wasn't for me. Just in the sense of, how I operated in the workplace. And I set out to kind of create my own journey or process of being an agent, in a sense of, working. So, dived headfirst in, and this was funny enough, right before COVID, where I decided to, start my own.
Tough timing.
I know, good timing. So I set out to be my own, self-employed broker, and COVID hit. So essentially, I was at home, stuck at home, couldn't do anything, couldn't do any viewings, and as we were all in the same situation, we're panicking. No paycheck was coming in, so I quickly realized I had to start, marketing myself somehow. I needed to do something to get my name out there, and also get my clients' properties out there, because I managed to get like a couple clients within that 2-3 month time frame before COVID hit. So I started searching online, figuring out how could I really brand and market myself. So came across social media, which I knew was on the rise, in a sense of, video content really started coming out in different dynamic ways. Came across TikTok, and started browsing, and actually found you, Aaron, which was, you were one of the agents I found. And I was like, wow, this is super interesting. Let me get on this platform and see how I can market and brand myself and just provide some value. So, I started posting videos. My first video was, it wasn't even a sales video. It was just a 2-bedroom apartment I had for rent, I believe, in a building in East Central London. And I posted it, and it was like, what does X amount get you for, what does X amount get you in London? And then it was a short tour. Anyways, video went out, got around 20 something thousand views. But what really stood out to me was the comments. So there was one comment from some guy that lived in the building next door, and he was like, hey, this looks cool. Could you send me more information? I live in the opposite building. So so that for me was a sign. I was like, wow, there's potential buyers and renters and clients on here. So this is a space I should be on. So essentially I kept posting, Aaron, and my second video ended up going viral. And that was just like the same situation as the first one in terms of comments, but times 100, because it was just a lot of people.
That's so awesome.
Engaging with the content. And so that was it for me. It kind of took off from there, and I never stopped posting essentially. And that was 2019, December 2019 was when it began. So
what an awesome story. Considering a career in real estate, but need to do it based off of your schedule? Study at your own pace from a laptop, tablet, or even your smartphone. It truly does not get more convenient than this, and at such an affordable price. Just visit realestateu.com. That's you as in the letter U.com, and choose your state's licensing course. And be sure to use the discount code STANDOUTS at checkout for 20% off. Real Estate U offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can start taking your licensing course as soon as you sign up. So don't delay, head over to realestateu.com and use the discount code STANDOUTS. Make sure to share it with others eager to kickstart their real estate career so they can save 20% off as well. Yeah, how did that feel when those first 2 videos just kind of went viral? Because I remember when that happened to me, I was in disbelief. I was in shock. I was getting a few thousand hits here and there on Instagram, and stumbled across TikTok also kind of early 2019. I think I was just a few months ahead of you in October.
Yeah.
And that first video, I went to sleep, woke up with like 30,000 views, and I just like was in shock. I couldn't believe it. How did that feel for you?
Yeah. It was surreal actually, and like even till today, sometimes when if a video hits a large number of views, I can't really comprehend the amount of people, because I don't think anyone knows what a million people look like,
Right.
what that looks like. So it's surreal, man. It's just a ton of people, and the engagement is also very, very high. Because I'm sure you've noticed too that it spreads across platforms. So if a video goes viral on TikTok, you're having people from Instagram DMing you about that video on TikTok. So it's like it comes at you from all angles. Basically, it's like you get rained on with eyeballs and engagement and comments. And yeah, I mean, it's incredible because I guess it shows that it works, for us in a business sense. So I guess that's the huge plus to it, is that it's effective. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It is pretty incredible, the amount of people that are on these platforms watching these videos. I think we're kind of desensitized to the numbers at this point. At least I am. I don't know about you, but 50,000, 100,000, like those are huge numbers. Those are a lot of people. And then when you get those million view hits, it's like, wow, like
exactly,
that is a lot of people watching your content.
It's a lot. It's funny.
Sorry. No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say it's funny. I saw that the average stadium size is around 50 to 60,000. And I was recently I was actually watching an NFL game here in London, and the stadium held around, I think it was like 70, 80,000, and it was just so many people. And I'm like, the fact that some of my videos was this times 10 is just, it's insane.
Crazy.
Really.
I had Glenda Baker on the podcast a few months ago, and she said the exact same thing. Like she was at a baseball game and recognized the amount of people at the stadium, and she's like, "This amount of people watch my videos on a daily basis. Like this is mind blowing." Yeah, it really is. You mentioned that it goes across platform. You're getting hit up on Instagram when you're posting on TikTok. Do you find that the videos that do really well on your TikTok also do super well on your Instagram? Because for me, it's kind of inconsistent. Like I'll have a video that does super well on TikTok, and then on Instagram Reels, it kind of like shits the bed, and then vice versa. And I just like never really know what to expect. When I think, oh, this one's going to blow up everywhere, it doesn't. And then the ones sometimes where I'm like, okay, I don't think this is going to work very well, I'm not super proud of this one, just blows up. So how do you find that on your end?
For sure. I mean, I've dealt with the same. It really varies. For the most part, if I post on TikTok and it does very well, I have an idea that it will do reasonably well on Instagram Reels, but you can't really tell. And I think that on Instagram Reels, what I've kind of noticed is that the format of the content, it works better when the video is more put together. If it's a bit more raw, shall I say, on TikTok, it will perform well, like very well. But that same raw format of video on Instagram Reels doesn't really hit. And it's just because they're different platforms. So, as you know, it's just like people are consuming the content differently. So I guess that's the main thing that stood out to me, is that, the rawness of a video on TikTok that works very well just doesn't do the same on Instagram Reels. But you never know. It's like hit or miss. Sometimes you think that it's just going to perform decently, and then you have a viral video on Instagram. So I mean, it's like it's really interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. When you're creating content, let's say you make a video, are you automatically posting that on every single platform, or do you create content specifically for TikTok, specifically for Reels?
Yeah, so for the most part, I'll cross-purpose the content. So I'll post the TikTok onto Instagram Reels, but I will most likely change the audio. So I'll change the song. So if on TikTok I have kind of a song that has someone speaking over it, or singing or rapping, I won't use that on Instagram Reels, just because I'd rather people focus more on the content. And I think that on TikTok as a platform, they push music and artists a lot more. Like I think that's one of their big kind of selling points, or unique points of the app. Whereas on Instagram Reels, I don't think that the artists and the music are as big of a part of just because Instagram is more established, I think, essentially. So that's, for me, that's what I found.
No, definitely. That makes sense. You seem to cover so you have obviously like a niche, real
Hmm.
estate. You do a lot of house related content, a lot of house tours, but you do a few different types of content within that niche. How long did it
Hmm.
take you to establish those? Because I think you remain pretty consistent with them. How much like exploration and experimentation did you do before, kind of coming up with your main set of content forms?
Sure, like in a sense of like different types of, like, what do you mean different types of content in real
Like
estate?
you
Like,
do some that are just house walkthroughs where you do like a
hmm,
voiceover. You have
got you.
some where you're going up to people on the street asking
Yeah.
them how much are they paying for rent, and then going like, how did you find those types of content? How did you sort of like narrow those down to the ones that you're going to be consistent with? Does that make
Sure.
sense?
Got 100%. So for me, my goal firstly on socials was to provide value, and then I realized, okay, so I'm providing a lot of value here. People are enjoying my content, but I need to kind of diversify the style of media that I'm kind of producing, just because of like burnout of the content, and then I
Right.
don't want people to kind of get fed up of seeing the same thing. I actually enjoy when people enjoy my content. So I guess I had like a year point. So after my first year of producing content, and it was going very well, I decided, okay, what other variables can I kind of input, or what different styles of content that are still in the same niche can I integrate? And we all saw Caleb Simpson kind of take off the past couple years, which is amazing. I mean, his content is incredible. And I thought, look, I'm also in homes where we're basically in the same niche. This is definitely an interesting format that I can kind of apply, put a spin on, kind of recreate, or I really just took inspiration from. And that question, how much do you pay for rent, is like, it's an iconic question now. It's like, no matter where you're going, you'd understand where that came from. So
Totally.
I guess there wasn't really like a time frame, but I just kept it in mind that I want to get to a point where I'm not always producing the same type of content, or once I'm hitting that kind of exhaustion point of, okay, I'm making this style of content a lot, like what else could I do? Just having that question in mind has really helped me kind of diversify. So I try and switch between 3 to 4 different types. I don't try and do more than four,
Hmm.
because I think it gets a bit too much. But I'd say there's about 4 mediums.
Definitely. Is there one that consistently performs better than another?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say the house tour, the walkthrough tour
Hmm.
with a voiceover performs very well,
Yeah,
because I think that's the closest you can get to someone actually being in the home with you. So that performs very well. So that,
definitely.
I'd say voiceover with a walkthrough tour, but definitely having someone in the video, um, that really helps too, because as human beings, for some reason we just like seeing other people. So you've probably noticed that if you post a video of a property tour just without anyone in it, it will perform well if it's a very nice home. But if you
Hmm.
get in a video, it will almost double or triple the amount of views that you get, which is, it's really interesting. But that's what I found.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more beneficial too to be in the video because people get to see your face. You're transmitting emotions a bit better than you are
Yeah.
just doing a voiceover, and I think that's what truly builds personal brands
Oh,
is
100%. Yeah.
showcasing truly who you are. And
Hmm.
it's not easy getting in front of the camera. Like I
No.
didn't get in front of the camera until I actually had 1 million followers on TikTok,
Wow.
but I didn't experience nowhere near the engagement that I experienced post getting in front of the camera as I did just behind it, not even saying
Hmm.
a word. So I think getting in front of the camera is critical if you're truly looking to build a personal brand online.
Yeah.
What type of content would you suggest new agents explore when they're first getting into this? Because I think the house tours that you do with the voiceovers, they're pretty simple to create if you're not
Hmm.
super well versed in content creation. So I suggest if you have access to cool homes in your neighborhood, that's definitely a good route. What else would you suggest a new agent um, kind of explore in terms of content creation?
Yeah. I mean, I guess the simplest formats would be, you know, the how-to guide. So for buyers, for sellers, and that can be in, you know, a podcast format, like an audio format. It could also be in, you know, a video format where you're kind of like talking to a screen and just guiding people. I actually saw a video like yesterday of a guy that was he made a video talking about how to like steps to buy a house, and it was so interesting that I watched like 30-40 seconds and I saved the video, and I've seen those videos 100 times, but for some reason I saw his one and I was like, this is cool, I'm going to save it.
What made his so engaging?
I think it was the intro. The beginning, his intro was really good. I forgot what he did, but it hooked me, and I was there for 30 seconds listening to something that I already knew. So it's just like, but that's the power of social media,
for
right?
sure.
It's like it will get you. So yeah, I think never sleep on the simple buyer seller guides. I think also you can do, I guess, in-feed posts are good. If you can create video, I would definitely say lean to video, because, you know, it's kind of like the king, you know, it's ruling right now in terms of social media, the format. I mean, it varies. But one thing I would say is that kind of figure out what works best for you as an agent in terms of how do you best like to present yourself, and what media do you like the most, even if it's written word, like, you know, typing copy into LinkedIn. That's fine. I guess you got to figure out what's most comfortable for you, because I think sometimes, especially now, a lot of agents are diving into video and it's just not for them. You know, it's better for them to do a podcast, or it's better for them to write a blog. Like, if you're a good blogger, or if you're good at writing in general, like, you can be very effective on social media, especially on LinkedIn, platforms like LinkedIn, because it's all copy based. So I guess the answer would be to find out kind of what's best for the agent, what style of social media works best for them, and then take it from there. But with that being said, you know, video is ruling right now, and podcasts and audio. So
yeah, totally. I completely agree with everything you just said. If you can get on camera, that's probably going to be one of the best ways to grow your personal brand and grow an audience, an engaging one. But if you can't be consistent with creating content, you're better off exploring a content route that you can be very consistent with. Like you said, whether that be blogging, just in-feed posts with captions. I think, you know, consistency is everything. Clearly shows with you. Like, you are probably the most consistent real estate content creator I have come across. Like, you are so consistent. You are constantly posting, constantly creating content, and it clearly shows, you know, what consistency can do, you know, how much you've grown, how much that has impacted your business. How do you stay so consistent?
Thank you. No, I guess the consistency, and it's funny because I feel like I still struggle with that today.
Me too. I think we all do. Yeah.
No, yeah. I guess we all have our ups and downs, and I guess for me it's just been, you know, this is kind of the road I've chose. Like, I don't see myself going anywhere else anytime soon. So I'm like, look, let me just put as much effort into it as possible. And it's funny because even sometimes, you know, I'm in the process of creating content and I don't really want to do it. But if I stick through it for that extra 5-10 minutes, I almost hit a breaking point. It's like running, where that first 5-10 minutes suck. And then you hit a break point, or a tipping point, should I say? And then it's just fine. And like, you start enjoying it. And you can't wait to finish the content or finish that race. And then you post it, you get it out there, and it's just like, and you're super happy, and then you can't wait to do it the next time. So I guess, it's like that age old saying, like, sticking to it, you know, and it will kind of, you'll get there in the end, essentially, if you just, you know, hold tight.
Yeah. Enjoying what you do is definitely helpful in regards to consistency. But yeah, it's so awesome seeing what you've built. How have you seen your content impact your in-person, like, real estate sales? Are you generating leads? Do you think it's valuable in other ways? I'm just curious, how have you grown as an actual, like, real estate agent from your content?
100%. That's a great question. And I guess this year I would say has been the most impactful in terms of what social media has done for my business, because I've been able to, I guess it's also been a process of learning as an agent and going through, the day to day of dealing with renters, landlords, buyers, and sellers.
Hmm.
But yeah, this year I've been getting a lot of clients through social media. So I've just actually completed on a large rental deal last week, and that client came through social media. I'm
Amazing.
under offer for another property, and that was another client that came through. She actually DM'd me through TikTok, said she had an apartment to sell in central London by Hyde Park, and yeah, it's just incredible now that I'm essentially getting listings directly from social media, and obviously turning over deals, and that was happening in the beginning. However, in the beginning it was more clients, so like people that are looking to rent or looking to buy. So it's
Yeah.
more on the buyer side,
Right.
and the renter side, as opposed to direct instructions and listings. So yeah, I guess it's this year it's really shown. But I think that the reason it's shown this year has been just a kind of a growth in my learning.
Hmm.
I've been partnering and collaborating with other agents, who've kind of guided me in terms of helping me understand the process even more. And it's a never ending journey of learning, really. So this year has been great for growth, both like in terms of my education of real estate, but also in converting the social media leads into actual business. So,
That's awesome. I'm super happy to hear that. I
thank you.
feel similarly. I'm now a little over 4.5 years in the business, and I think the ball is really starting to roll for me. And social media is quite an impact. So, yeah,
Mm.
that's awesome to hear. You're the first real estate agent that I've had on the show, not from the United States. I know you've spent some time in the States and you're relatively familiar with how, real estate sort of works here. What are some of the differences between real estate in the UK versus in the US?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. So I guess everything really
Yeah.
is yeah, everything is different. So the structure of real estate in the US is completely different. So in the US, you have the brokerage model. So it's kind of like a professional system where you get licensed. I guess you take a test, you get licensed, and then you become a broker, and then you start trading, and then I guess essentially you have to hang your license with a brokerage,
Right.
and then you have your commission split. But correct me if I'm wrong. Most brokers in the US work solely off commission.
Oh
Is
yeah,
that
100%. Yeah.
yeah?
It's very rare
So
to have some type of salary or yeah,
yeah,
continual income in
yeah.
addition to
So
commission.
in addition to commission, yeah. So in the UK, it's 90. I'd say like 95% all salary based. So if you want to become an agent, you find a local agency, and they have a very corporate structure for the most part. And yeah, you have to sign up. You go through the employment process. Once you're hired, you get a salary every month, with a small commission, uh, based off of the properties that you sell.
Hmm.
So there isn't a brokerage system here that is running fluently. Now there's a lot of brokers, so you can actually become a broker in the UK. That model has come here, but it's still, I'd say, 5% of the overall market. And yeah, the fees are also very different here. So yeah, the system is very different, and I guess that's why I decided to go the route that I did, was because I first got interested in to real estate from my friends that were agents in the States, and they had the more entrepreneurial spirit. They were brokers. They could kind of create their own life that they wanted to live, essentially, through work. So I found that very interesting, that format. So yeah, the structure's very different. I guess the overarching theme would be kind of like the self-employed model in the States that you have, and then the employed model in the UK. But then also, I guess another big difference is the marketing. So
Hmm.
in the US, the marketing is incredible. I mean, from the TV shows down to just the basic way that agents market themselves, like yourself, it's like groundbreaking. And I all I watch is US real estate in terms of like marketing and innovation, because I think you guys just hold the crown of you know exactly how marketing works. And that's it. Yeah, it's had a huge impact, I think, on the world in a sense. I think now you're starting to see agents from all around the world, especially now in the UK where I'm from, who are embracing that US style of marketing, getting on TikTok, getting on Instagram, and really trying to market themselves. And it's funny because like whenever I have conversations with people about kind of what I'm doing, because they're like, some people are quite interested and they're like, wow, like you're making these videos, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's good, but if you look at America, they've been doing this for like 100 years. It's like it's nothing brand new. But yeah, so it's an interesting difference, and yeah, I guess I enjoy watching what you're doing over in the States.
Super cool to hear that. That's very interesting. But no, I mean, yeah, I guess real estate content is not too new.
Mm.
We've had plenty of TV shows, but I mean, on social media, you're still at the very beginning, at the very forefront of content creation online.
Mm.
Like you absolutely hold the title of someone who is an innovator in the space. So yeah, I mean, you should be proud of yourself for that. It's
Thank you.
awesome. I'm sure your audience extends into Europe. I don't know, some of the major cities there, Paris. How easy is it for you to help clientele in Europe? Can you do that? Like, can you get your license? And I'm sure you've had people reach out to you like, hey, I have a real estate opportunity, maybe even in Dubai. I know there's a lot of people in the UK who spend a lot of time in Dubai. Do you have the reach in those places? Can you operate there?
Yeah, definitely. So right now, actually, what I've been doing is I've been working, on my international network. Just like yourself, Aaron. I think hopefully after, we get to know each other even more, we're going to start working together, and essentially,
Yeah.
yeah, and essentially, I'll just let you, run the operations. And if I have a client that needs to be in LA, that wants to be LA, I'll we'll work things out through you. And that's what I've been doing overseas. So I recently partnered with Deferla, which is a Parisian agency, and yeah, they have some incredible homes. I mean, they have about, I think, 6 or 7 offices throughout Paris. They're very successful, amazing couple, and yeah, so I actually partnered with them, and we did a house tour of a home in Paris. And funny enough, 3 days after the post, it kind of went a bit viral. We had an international buyer who went to see the apartment, actually placed an offer. I can't say too much after that, but yeah,
That's
it's just so,
amazing.
yeah, it goes to show the power of you know collaboration first of all, but also
Yeah.
social media and media in general, because having an office is great. Having somewhere people can go and see what you have in person and feel the brochures and look at the magazines. But when you can reach someone from all corners of the globe through their phone, it just changes the game. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, Aaron, is really partnering with agents, around the world, expanding my reach, and growing my business, and helping grow other businesses that way. So yeah, international referrals and collaborations have been very effective.
That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, I think there's a lot of the older generation real estate agents who kind of, I don't want to say they frown upon collaboration and working together, but it's not as much of a practice as I feel it should be. Us working
Mm,
together towards a common goal. I love networking with younger agents who are doing the same things that I'm doing in the hope of working together in the future. But yeah, I think like that's starting to shift. More collaboration, the better.
yeah.
And nothing makes me happier than hearing those types of success stories from leads on social media. I think that's so amazing. So keep my fingers crossed for you. I hope that works out.
Thank you. No,
But
definitely.
super cool. So what's sort of like next for you? What are your upcoming goals? I assume you're going to continue to create content. Anything else on the horizon that you plan to do professionally?
Yeah, definitely. I guess so. I'd say my goals are to keep growing, the media side and marketing side of my business. I believe that you know how things are kind of going with social media, with marketing in general. It's becoming like the baseline for sales also, in a sense of, you're more likely to start searching for a home online as opposed to like, any other format. And if people are now looking at social media and being able to not necessarily buy directly on these apps, but that's a place where their attention is going, and ends up with them buying through these platforms. I think that's a space that people should be paying a lot more attention to. So yeah, really just pushing the media and marketing side, and leaning a lot more on collaborations and partnerships. I believe that's the way things are really moving, in a sense of just business and growth. So yeah, I'd say the media and partnerships are a big part of my my future goals.
Awesome. I love to hear that. I want to share something that's changing the game for agents. If you haven't heard about Sign More yet, listen up. Real estate has never been more 24/7. And with leads and clients calling around the clock, being available to capture every opportunity is core to growing your business. And trust me, you don't want to rely on voicemail. You want to show that you care, and the best way to do that is by having a real person answering your phone. That's where Sign More comes in. Day or night, your business is supported by property receptionists answering your calls, qualifying your leads, and scheduling your appointments. Along with 5-star service from real people, Sign More comes with a range of leading technology. This includes a mobile app, CRM integrations, live chat widget, appointment scheduling software, and my personal favorite, your own business number so you can keep your personal number private. As a sponsor of this podcast, I got a promo for all of you listening right now. Go to signmore.com/Aaron. That's signmore.com/Aaron, AARON, to get 30% off your first 3 months on Sign More's best value plan. And who are some people that you feel are standouts to you? Who have you looked up to throughout the years through building your business? They can be in real estate, non-business, or not real estate, non-real estate. I'm always just curious who you guys are looking up to, who you're watching, paying attention to. So yeah, who are some people that have stood out to you?
For sure. I mean, other than yourself, Aaron, there's there's a couple other people. I think that there's a YouTuber, Inez Yilmaiza, who I think you're probably familiar with him over in LA. But yeah, I feel like he's changed the game with the visual aspect of showcasing homes. I think what he's done is groundbreaking, and give him a lot of props for that. So he's someone who I pay close attention to. I guess on the agent side, there's a couple of agents out there. I think Ryan Serhan, what he's doing is really cool. It's very rare that you're able to see someone build something like that quick. I mean, mind you, I guess it has taken him a lot of time. He's kind of had a long career, but there's very few kind of personal brands that have grown into kind of like a machine that he's making.
Right.
So yeah, definitely him on the real estate side once again. And I'm trying to think who else. I'd say that would probably be it. There are a few other people on the media side, like maybe YouTubers that I find really cool, just in a sense of like how they create content. I mean, there's the age-old Casey Neistat. I think he creates amazing content, and anytime I watch his video, I'm inspired to make something different or to rethink how I make my videos. So yeah, I'd say a lot of the people who are inspiring me now, funny enough, are coming from the media content creator side of the world. So yeah.
If I was asked that exact same question, I think I would mention those 3 people as well.
Oh yeah.
Yes. 100%.
Including yourself? No,
not myself. That's so awesome to hear though. Well, Toby, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Really enjoyed our conversation. And I look forward to working with you and collabing in the future.
Oh, sounds great, Aaron. Thanks for having me on the show. Hopefully we can do this again sometime, and
definitely.
We'll definitely speak soon.
Perfect. Have a good one, man.
Thanks, Aaron. You too.